Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently tracking the reaction to the ongoing riots that have broken out over the last few days in relation to the ICE raids taking place in LA County. And now we have Newsom trying to play the victim, trying to position himself for his 2028 campaign that we all know he's going to be announcing at some point within the next probably 2 years. He'll be one of the first Democrats to announce a primary run for the 2028 nomination. He is playing the wounded victim. He's saying, "Arrest me, Trump." You can see it's all this just fake. Like, look at Newsom. Trump's border czar is threatening to arrest me for speaking out. Come and get me, tough guy. Oh, he calls Tom Homan a tough guy. Well, this is exactly what he's doing. It's a tough guy act. Come arrest me. I want to be the victim. I'm standing up to Trump. It's all these pick-me Democrats trying to play the victim. Donald Trump read this situation. He understood that as ICE went in to do and conduct their raids based off of California law, because of all the sanctuary cities, the local law enforcement there is not instructed to help with the federal forces, with ICE. And so Trump realized that ICE was going to get hammered, that these were going to be some pretty bad riots. They were originally said, oh, it's all protests. Remember, this is something that always happens with Democrats, to where they say it's protesters, and then you see all these cars burning. They're hurling projectiles at the SUVs of ICE, and so we saw a video where it was this big, almost a boulder, like a huge rock being chucked at the windshield, shattering the windshield of a police officer, thrown from like an upper area down onto a freeway. They blocked the freeway last night, and it did get bad to where even Democrats came out and said, all right, now it's to the point to where this isn't helping us, it's hurting us. And so they're like, well, maybe now we should tell people to hold up a little bit. And they've got all their Mexican flags, and now even liberals realize how ridiculous it looks to be waving a Mexican flag and protest deportations out of the United States to Mexico. It just like it's counterintuitive. And I'm going to get to that point as well. But this is just Newsom playing the victim. Remember, on early Sunday morning, I was seeing reports from New York Times and others. They were like, Newsom says it's under control. This is a hilarious overreaction by Trump. He's a dictator. He's obsessed with using executive power. This is a very rare thing he's invoking, and he shouldn't have done this. It's totally under control. There's no problems. Now Newsom says, well, it is out of control, I admit, and it's Trump's fault. He escalated it by bringing in the National Guard and the Marines. So which one is it? Was it under control, or was it because, so see, and the thing is that Newsom has to realize there were already Antifa people en route to these events, these protests in LA when the National Guard was coming. This was already going to be a bigger situation. The question is, would it have gone completely off the rails, or would the National Guard be able to try and restore order? We'll see what happens over the next few days, but that's really the point of it there. This is our Los Angeles. This is the Los Angeles subreddit. I'm sure this is as liberal as every subreddit is liberal, but this is obviously extremely liberal subreddit. Unpopular opinion: wave an American flag at the protests. Well, yes, they're starting to learn. They're starting to realize what they're portraying by waving the Mexican flag. It makes no sense, and so many conservatives have called this out. You're saying that we're so angry about being deported or having people we know be deported from the United States to Mexico, we're going to wave a Mexican flag to show that we're angry that people are forced to go to Mexico. That makes no sense. So the idea is you wave an American flag. No, we love this country. This is our country. Remember, because that's what the immigrants, they say, this is our country. So you wave the American flag. We love America. We want to stay in America. So you would think it would make more sense. Just branching off of this, what they've done now to try and counter that, because it's so ridiculous. The idea, and you see all these photos and videos of, you've got these Mexican gangsters with their shirts off on top of burning vehicles. There's like 5 vehicles in a row. They're all caught on fire. And they're like, well, California was a part of Mexico first. Well, if you want to play that game, California was a part of European conquest and European colonialism back. It was a part of New Spain. So why doesn't Spain come and try and reclaim it? It was only part of Mexico when Mexico gained their independence from the Spanish. That happened. It was only 27 years. Do you understand that? and then the United States took it over from Mexico in a war. So you owned it for 27 years, but like, we were here first. No, actually, that was a colony under Spanish conquest. So they don't even know what they're talking about when they try, because that's what they're trying to argue now. They're like, well, you know what? Yes, it looks dumb to be waving a Mexican flag when we're trying to protest returning to Mexico. It's like, okay, you like Mexico so much, we're going to send you to Mexico. That's the whole point. So it doesn't make any sense. And that's why they're saying that. Here it is. Here's the shots right here. They're fighting for a country they refuse to live in. Absolutely. Look at the shift that we've seen in California in terms of the demographic change. No wonder it's blue now. Oh, no, it's blue because Democrats changed people's minds. That's really it. Yeah, no, it's blue because of immigration, just like a lot of states in this country. Looters stealing sneakers in LA, no police in sight. No, but Newsom said he had it under control. He's got it under control. Let's see this. If you see federal agents in Los Angeles, DM us a photo and location. Keep Los Angeles safe. Things have gotten far too violent. I will no longer be sharing the location of ICE raids or facilities unless the situation begins to de-escalate. Newsom performed mental gymnastics to try and blame the riots on Trump. No, this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, let's see what Newsom says here. Let's get, like, Newsom's been tweeting nonstop. Newsom loves these moments where he's on the national stage and he can kind of get his name out there more. So he's just like this huge barrage of tweets from Newsom. Local law enforcement didn't help. Trump sent troops anyway to manufacture chaos and violence. Well, no, this is what you said first. First, you said there's no problem. Trump sending all these troops is not necessary and it was under control. Now you're saying that Trump sent them to manufacture chaos and violence. Really? Are the National Guard that are at these events, these protests, are they telling the protesters to throw projectiles and rocks at the windshields of police cars? Seriously? But now Newsom has to say, oh, you know what? No, it's the same thing over and over again with these Democrats. These protests get violent. They start assaulting people. The liberal protesters, the liberal rioters start violently assaulting people. And then the Democrats are like, oh, we didn't know that all these people who show up to these events with masks so they can commit crimes and get away with it, we didn't know they were going to turn violent. We didn't know these people, you take one look at them, yeah, it's going to get violent. We didn't know that. Oh, shucks. The Democrats do the exact same thing every time whenever there's one of these protests and then it turns into a riot. We didn't know. Now it's gone too far, guys. Oh, no. You've got Karen Bass. Just look at Karen Bass. 9.5K replies, 4K likes. There's a ratio. Trump deployed the National Guard in Los Angeles. This was yesterday. Deploying federalized troops on the heels of the raids is a chaotic escalation. The fear people are feeling in our city right now is very real. Really? Because I saw CNN say that most people were going on about their day like nothing was happening. So which one is it? And so, yeah, there's fear because people are burning cars and throwing a bunch of rocks and stuff. And I mean, they were taking off chunks of concrete out of the pavement of the sidewalks and throwing them. Because of what? Why is this happening? This is happening because illegals are being deported from the United States. And so Trump was elected. This is what democracy looks like. That's the new phrase we have to use because this is it. Because the thing is, they have no standing now. They have zero standing in terms of democracy. Trump won every swing state. He won the Electoral College with over 300 electoral votes. He won the popular vote. There's your democracy. The democracy says 60% of Americans, they want these deportations, and that's a countrywide thing. That we want deportations not just from Florida, not just from New Mexico, not just from Texas, but also from California. You get into some of these liberal states, because of their sanctuary city laws, they don't really want to help. And so Trump is calling on backup. If we're going to be doing these raids, ICE would just get hammered, and these people all wear masks, and they're not, the local police is not instructed to help ICE at all. If anything, they're going to hinder them because of the politicians and what they believe and how liberal they are, especially in LA County. So how is ICE supposed to do their job? They're getting no help, and then people just assault them and they get away with it. They're wearing masks. That's why Trump said you can't wear masks. because we can't identify you. You commit crimes. If you're wearing a mask, that tells me you're going to be committing a crime. It doesn't. You don't get away with that now. Remember they did that in 2020 with the BLM stuff. They all wore masks because of COVID. Yeah, that's why. Right. No, it's because they're all committing crimes back during those riots. So, this is something that has certainly spiraled out of control, and it all relates back to when did the original protests, which turned into riots, begin? They began before the National Guard got there, and this was even before the Antifa people who were opportunistic, and they come down and they get involved in it, and then it gets worse. This was when ICE raided a Home Depot and surrounding areas to deport illegal immigrants. And they said, no, we don't want illegals being deported. And you look at these people at these protests, and it's like, I mean, these are all Mexicans, these are all Venezuelans, and then you'll get like 1 out of every 5 is like a white soy boy who weighs about 105 pounds. With the N95 masks weighs more than him that he's got on. It's like dragging him down. I mean, that's who's at these protests, which have turned into riots, and you see they're burning all these electric vehicles now, and it's just this is typical. Whenever you see that, it's 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a liberal riot. And so, listen, this is unfortunate, but now Newsom's trying to capitalize off of it and say, arrest me, Trump, because they all want to be the one to stand up to Trump. He tried to blame Trump back during the fires, and now he's doing it again, saying it's escalation. Well, to be honest, like, the thing is, we have gotten a lot of self-deportations, but in terms of physical removals, it's been pretty light. So now Trump is starting these raids, and if we're going to be dealing with these issues, this is not something that can keep happening. This is what people voted for. They voted for illegals to be removed from the United States. That's what people voted for. And so when ICE tries to do their job after some faulty, lacking numbers in terms of the physical deportations we saw, overall, it seems like there's a lot of self-deportations. We don't know if the 700K number is correct or not, but the administration is saying it's over 700K if you include the self-deportations, and the amount of immigrants now is, we'll see if that's right or not. I don't know if that includes legal and illegal, just leaving the U.S. I'm not sure exactly what that number is, but they're saying it's 700K over 4 months. We'll see. But, listen, this is something that Trump is not going to be, we're not going to deal with this where ICE gets harassed for doing their job and removing illegal immigrants. This is not something that's going to happen. And this is a very liberal area, but this is where a lot of the illegals are, in extremely liberal areas. So this will be an issue in other cities when raids happen there too, if Trump doesn't lay down the law and say, no, this is going to happen. And if it doesn't, if things are not peaceful, you're not going to see what we originally saw on Wednesday and Thursday. I think it was Thursday when it started, or maybe it was Friday, but what we originally saw was the ICE SUVs being hurled with rocks, and the ICE people being assaulted, and them trying to not allow ICE to do their job. And then they get away with it because they're all in masks, and the local police do not cooperate with ICE because it's California. That we're not going to allow that to happen. So, I mean, that's all Trump is saying. And like Newsom is doing this thing to where he believes in law and order. Obviously not. You're not helping ICE at all. They're trying to arrest a bunch of illegals in the city. Why? So it's like he tries to play dumb. So we'll see what happens in terms of this, whether or not it kicks up over the next few days to the next few weeks. Obviously now it's the summer. It's June. People are saying, is it a summer of love 2.0? The weather is warm. People are going to be outside. We'll see what happens in terms of where Trump decides to do these raids. And whenever they pass that bill, the big, beautiful bill, there is significantly more funding for the deportation operations. So we'll have to see what happens in terms of that. But either way, guys, like the video down below. Also, follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.